Welcome into another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after another tough loss, 3-1. Giants top the Rangers today, and we're going to bring you all of the highlights, key moments from the game. There weren't many in the Rangers' favor. The ninth inning did get a little bit interesting, but let's talk this one out. But before we get started, I'm sure all of y'all that have been with us for a minute here know the drill. But for anybody new, thank you for joining us. Here at Right on Rangers, we cover everything sports, but we put a big emphasis on all the teams that we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Thank you for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, the Rangers today had Andrew Heaney going on the mound. Heaney actually had some mixed numbers in his career against San Francisco, going back to his time with the Angels, going back to his time with the Dodgers. Last year, when we faced the Giants, Heaney did not have a particularly good outing. Some Giants players in the lineup today were on the team last year in that outing for Andrew Heaney. So there were some guys that had some decent numbers off of Heaney coming into this one. And today, kind of like last night, just always seems like there's one dude beating the Rangers on any given day. One guy. And tonight it was Ramos. Ramos, of course, had the double in the first inning, which got things going for San Francisco. And then in the third inning, the 2-run homer from Ramos is what ends up being the difference in the ball game. So we know that last night, Wilmer Flores similarly kind of, the Conforto home run, I guess you could kind of count in there. But last night, we had Flores hitting 2 bombs, kind of single-handedly beating the Rangers. And today, it's Ramos. So don't know quite what's going on there. The Rangers just allowing the same guys to beat them. I do wish that to an extent you would say to yourself, everybody else is pretty much having an off game. You look at the Giants box score and basically 5 through 9 went over today. I take it back. Fitzgerald, the shortstop, went 1 for 3, but largely what the 5 through 9 was a collective 1 for like 19. So my point is, don't let the guys that are having a good day beat you when the rest of the lineup, when the rest of the Giants lineup is doing that terribly all game long. So tonight, or today, I should say, Ramos 2 for 4, 3 RBI for the Giants, and that's the difference in the ball game. Andrew Heaney, I thought, pitched pretty decently today. He did have 1 walk. He allowed 5 hits, so 6 base runners in 5 2/3, 3 earned runs. Look, not stellar, but good enough to get you a win. Good enough to get you a win. Andrew Heaney's stat line today, shouldn't hear or see any Andrew Heaney slander today by any means. 5 2/3, 3 earned runs. You're an out away from a quality start. Quality start, of course, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs or less. Heaney was 1 out away from that today. So for me, I'm not blaming anything related to the pitching staff today. The bullpen was actually phenomenal once again. It was great to see Jon Gray out there. Jon Gray, of course, goes 2 1/3 innings and doesn't give up any runs, has 4 strikeouts, 1 hit, 1 walk, so 2 base runners in 2 1/3 innings. Tinoco, he comes in, only allows 2 walks in an inning pitch, so made things a little interesting. He got 2 quick outs. Average ERA down to 6.48 on the year. So look, that tells you how Tinoco started off this season, but I do feel like he's had some good outings of late. Latz comes in, gets a big out to bail Tinoco out of the jam that he had created. So I can't say anything negative about the bullpen today. They end up going, 3 1/3, 1 hit, 3 walks, 6 Ks, and 3 1/3. Bullpen was great again today. The whole pitching staff, great again today. So it's just frustrating to waste these kinds of performances from your starter. Andrew Heaney, 5 2/3, 3 earned runs, and out away from a quality start. And then you've got the rest of the bullpen coming in and going 3 1/3 with 6 strikeouts, no earned runs. So the things that I had complained about with the bullpen hey, when we're losing at the beginning of this season, we lack that guy that could just keep the game close. It's a 1-run game, it's a 2-run game, and we're losing. For a while, we were really lacking those guys that could come in and just keep the game within reach for the offense. Today, that happened. And there were some opportunities for the Rangers to win this game. The ninth inning, I don't think there was any more perfect example than the ninth inning in this one. In the ninth inning, Rangers get the first two. I don't know if it was the first two runners on, but the Rangers get first and second with one out, and then eventually second and third with an opportunity to win the game. Leote literally coming within inches of tying the ball game. I mean, his right before, I think it was 2 pitches before he ultimately flies out to end the game. Leote hits a nice line drive down the line, maybe a foot foul, if I had to say off the top of my head here, maybe a foot foul. So Leote, almost the hero in this one, just wasn't meant to be. So the ninth inning rally just falls short. Yeah, at that point, it was runners on first and second, one out. Jankowski was able to advance the runners to second and third. And then Leote comes up, nearly ties the game on a ball that was about a foot foul down the line, and then ultimately flies out. Rangers lose this one 3-1. We're going to take a look at the box score, kind of dive deep into some troubling stats, which we kind of started talking about last night. But for right now, let me go to the comment section real quick and say what's up. I see some people coming in on YouTube. Appreciate the kind words. Thanks for subscribing today. Thanks for joining us here, Right on Rangers. Wish it was under better circumstances, my friend. Wish that this was after a win. Was not meant to be today. Rangers dropped this one by a couple of runs. Natalie, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. I think Smith should play first once guys get healthy. This is the comment, just reading it for all the people that are listening and not watching. Surprised Langford wasn't in the lineup. Bochy actually said post-game that Langford needed a day today, for what it's worth. So it wasn't a performance thing. It was a Langford needs a day kind of thing. So take that for what it's worth. But that's what Bochy said post-game. Langford just needed an off day today. I do agree that Josh Smith, when Young comes back healthy, which, by the way, there was some positive news today on Josh Young. He's taking swings. Do believe that he is actually making contact with the baseball. And now the next step is BP. So hopefully we're maybe 2-3 weeks away from a Josh Young return. I think end of June is what people are projecting right now. I think Josh Smith does absolutely need to stay in the lineup when Josh Young comes back. Maybe take some reps at first base, get some reps in the outfield. I think that he might obviously still take some reps here and there, shortstop, third base when Young is back, when Siegs is back. But I think they need to start making Josh Smith even more versatile. Tonight, he goes 1 for 3 with a walk. So on base twice again, Josh Smith. Of course, that's pretty much a typical stat line for him. I think we've joked about that in the past. 1 for 3 with a walk is what you're going to get from Josh Smith nearly every night, it seems like. So his average is up to 285 on the season. I do agree. They've got to find a way to keep Josh Smith in the lineup. Simeon was 0 for tonight, but he did walk and score a run. Doley, I was disappointed seeing Doley in the 3 spot today. I think if anything, you needed to drop Doley down to 5 or 6. I think 5 would have probably been ideal. I don't think Doley is a guy that you needed to get more at bats today. Of course, when you move a guy up, just by the nature of it, you're inviting more at bats. I don't think Doley is a guy that needs to be getting more at bats right now. 4 spot, 5 spot, I think is exactly where he needs to be. I understand that Siegs is out and you've got to retweak the lineup. I just don't think the right move was putting Doley 3 spot. We talked about Doley's stats last night. They're just not pretty at all. They're, in fact, horrifying. So Adolis Garcia, in his last 15 games, is hitting 107. And that's his last 7 games. Doley, in his last 30 games, is hitting 144. This is not a guy that you need to be giving more at-bats to right now. I'm not saying Doley needs to get benched. I mean, look, easily could be benched at this point with how he's performed the last 30 games. He could easily get a couple of days off. They did it for Nate Lowe. I would consider doing it for Doley at this point. His bat is just too powerful to keep out of the lineup, just being honest. And the Rangers are in desperate need of pop right now. But Doley is in a pretty terrible way at this moment in the season. Was a little bit curious why Bochy is moving him up in the lineup. He's not a guy you need to be giving more at-bats to right now. If anything, I'd be hitting Doley 5. You're probably still going to get the same amount of at-bats out of him if he was hitting 4th. But if anything, I'm dropping Doley down a spot or 2 with how he's going right now. I'm not moving him up to 3 spot, even if you don't have Seager. Who would be a good candidate for 3 spot right now? I think you leave Jonah Heim in the 3 spot at this point. Heim was 1 for 4 today, had a nice single. Look, you take it however it comes. Had a nice, at least single, getting on base in the 9th inning. Didn't go very far, but he got on base. Look, there's not a lot of other guys that you really want hitting 3rd at this point. I think you either go Jonah Heim 3 spot, keep Doley at 4, or maybe you move Zeke Duran up into the 3 spot. I think in a million years I would be suggesting that. But at this point, I'd move Zeke up to the 3 spot. I kind of like Smith, I think, is a decent candidate for the 3 hole. I do kind of like him in the 2 spot right behind Semien. But look, I wouldn't complain. The only thing I think then is who's going to hit 2. Maybe you move Duran up to 2. I don't think there's a whole lot of other guys right now that I'd really like to see in the 2 spot up at the beginning of the order. I like Jankowski. I don't think that he's consistent enough to be a two hole hitter, even when Seager is out. I like Jankowski at the bottom of the order to help turn over the lineup. That's just me. So I think you've got to move maybe Zeke up. You definitely don't have Doley hit any higher than 4 at this point. He's not hitting in a good way right now. Again, Doley is hitting 114, 107, over his last 15 games and 144 over his last 30 games. In his last 30 games, 38 strikeouts, last 15 games, 17 strikeouts, averaging over a strikeout a game. Doley needs to hit 4 or 5 at this point. Does not need to be hitting 3 spot. A lot of other things you can do. So to me, that was a little bit of a curious move from Bochy. Maybe an opportunity to potentially jumpstart him, instilling some confidence in Doley, but I didn't like the move. I don't think that's what's going to be what gets this Rangers offense going, is moving the guys that are struggling the most up in the lineup. The other guy that's really struggling right now, and we're not going to go off on this because the entire offense is not doing well, but Leody Taveras is having a really tough time right now. He's hitting 0-43 in his last 7 games, 189 in his last 15 games, 219 in his last 30 games. That's not good. The Rangers up and down the lineup. Jonah Heim has similar stats. You look at Jonah Heim's stats right now, they're not going to be pretty either. Jonah's hitting 189 in his last 15 games, 192 in his last 7. So you've got just a ton of guys right now hitting below 200 over the course of their last 15 games. You're not going to win ball games when your best hitters, or if you just look at the lineup right now, when the best hitters in the lineup are hitting below 200. It's not going to go well for you, and it's not going well right now for the Rangers offensively. Beyond that, there's not really a whole lot to write home about. Duran goes 1 for 4. We had Jankowski, like I said, going 1 for 4. Kisner went 1 for 4 or 1 for 3 tonight, getting a start at catcher, giving Jonah Heim a little bit of a rest with the legs. Wenzel came in to pinch run. He was recently recalled, I believe, last night. Other than that, we already talked about the bullpen, how great they pitched today, and just how frequently we are saying how well the pitching staff is doing and just how little support the offense is giving them. It's just kind of what's happening right now. It's almost kind of comical. We're kind of just expecting it at this point, and then it's a pleasant surprise when the Rangers put up 5 or more runs. But right now, it's almost comical how bad it is. All you can really do is laugh. There's not a lot to break down or overanalyze. The hitting just sucks right now. You've got a ton of guys hitting under 200 over their last 15 games. It is what it is. let me go to the comments and then we'll start talking about tomorrow. So right now, my dream healthy lineup, I'd have to think about that on the spot. Obviously, you go Simeon, Seager. I think it depends on if it's a lefty or a righty. If it's a lefty, you go Josh Young, Doley. I'd go Josh Smith 5, probably Jonah Heim 6th after that. I think Nate Lowe 7th. And then I think maybe Wyatt Langford 7th, Nate Lowe 8th, Leote 9th. That's probably what I would do at this point. So again, dream healthy lineup. Let's say it's a lefty: Simi, Siegs, Young, Doley, Smith, Heim, Langford. Then after that, I would probably go Nate Lowe and finish it off with Leote. That's what I would do. For a righty, I would just flip Smith and Young. For a righty, I'd have Smith hit 3-hole and I would have Young hit 5. So there you go. That's the lineup. That's the dream lineup. Now, I think that you're going to have to obviously tweak some things with Josh Young back. Where's Josh Smith going to play? I think DH, and I think you're going to have him be super utility guy. Give somebody a breather in the outfield, give somebody a breather in the infield, and DH. I think that is what I would do at this point with a perfectly healthy lineup. I still say Rangers got to add a bat. They got to add a bat. This morning, I was watching the Phillies and the Mets. Obviously, there's a little bit of a London series going on right now. Phillies and the Mets are playing in London. Mets are a losing ball club right now that's got to be thinking about dealing some guys. I think about Pete Alonso. I think about a guy like JP Martinez, right-handed bats that can help add to the lefty situation. It's a good problem to have, having more than one guy who can maybe be your DH. I still think they can find creative ways to get Josh Smith in the lineup. I'd like to see them add a bat, though. I don't think Josh Young solves all your problems. If it does, great. Awesome. They were right all along. But I don't think this lineup, I've said this before, I don't think they're one guy away from being a potent offense. I think they're probably 2 guys away. Yeah, Josh Young comes back, and then they have one other guy. The reality is, I think the Rangers are going to have to start hurting some feelings soon if the lineup does not get better and does not improve. You can't have guys hitting 114 in their last 15 games, 30 games. You can't have this. So I think that they're going to have to start hurting some feelings at some point and benching some guys. I don't think that you can just keep riding it out with the same guys over and over again that are continuing to suck. You've got to get some guys in there just for the sake of mixing it up. I don't think that you can continue to trot out the same lineup week after week and watch them struggle and just say, yeah, eventually they're going to figure it out. Like on the broadcast today, Macklemore, who I really like, Mark Macklemore, Rangers player, Mariners player, I really like him. So this isn't a knock on Mac. But, they're just saying up there, this offense is going to get going sooner or later. How long have we been saying that? A long time. We've been saying this offense is going to get going sooner or later. It's easy to say. It's a good, positive vibe thing to say. But the reality is, this is some sustained suck right now. This is some sustained terrible play. And you got to start thinking about alternate options instead of just saying Doley's going to figure it out. Again, I'm not saying bench Doley or get rid of him. I don't think you can. He's shown you too much potential. Now, could you start benching him here and there? Yeah, you could. Could you start giving him some more breathers and maybe just giving somebody else a chance? Yeah. At this point, I think Doley needs a day off. And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes soon, although with Monday being an off day, I don't know how much Bochy is going to be giving guys days off. But I'll tell you what, y'all, I'm not feeling very good with the Dodgers series coming up on Tuesday. So we're playing absolutely terrible right now as an offense. Yeah, Siegs is going to come back, probably help things out. But this is just not a good time to be going to LA to play the Dodgers, which the Rangers are going to be doing on Tuesday. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully I'm not not too far off base there. Let me look. Tuesday. Yep, Dodgers. late start, 9:10 start Texas time. But yes, Rangers will be in LA after the off day on Monday to play the Dodgers, who are currently 40-25. Not a great time for the Rangers to be playing the Dodgers. Really need to get a win tomorrow. And the Rangers will have a good shot at getting a W because Nate Eovaldi's on the mound tomorrow. Evo has pitched, I think, well since coming back from the IL. And tomorrow he will be opposed by Keaton Wynn, who is not doing very well this year for the Giants. 6.17 ERA in 9 starts for the Giants. Keaton Wynn, right-handed pitcher. Good opportunity for the Rangers to get something positive before they go to LA and face probably the best team in the National League, right? Phillies are up there too, but Dodgers, I think most of us would say, best team in the National League. One of, if not the best team in baseball. Yankees are up there, obviously, but this is just not a great time for us to be going to play the Dodgers. This is the last thing the Rangers need right now. Now, one thing that I will say, and this is just totally throwing out something positive and just hoping that it sticks against the wall. But the Rangers sometimes in the past, they've had a tendency to play up to their competition and to play down to their competition. So maybe they go to LA, the lights are bright, they're playing against the big names, and we get 3 really good games against the Dodgers. I would love to see that. But I can't say that I'm sitting here feeling super, super confident about it. It will be nice to have Seager back. It will be nice to get some guys back in the lineup and really more in the pitching rotation and on the pitching staff than anything, right? With Jon Gray coming back, Scherzer on a rehab assignment right now, maybe coming back in the next couple of weeks. So it's not the help that we need per se, but I do think that these guys coming back healthy gives the team a morale boost. It's a culture boost. So I am glad to see some of these guys coming back from injury. I do think it helps. Let me go to the comments real quick. Let me read through, and I'll read some of them for you guys at home. The comment here, by the way, thank you for all the comments. Appreciate you, and thanks for turning in. It says, really like the Texas roster. They have to get rolling, right? That's what we've been saying. This team is like too good to not be rolling. Right? There's too many good players in this lineup, but they are just in a really, really bad way right now. Right? Dolly is a great player. Jonah Heim is a great player and has a good bat. Right? You've got other guys too that are really, really quality. You've got Marcus Semien. Look, he's been playing better of late, but Semien has the potential to be a 300 hitter. He does. I have said Marcus Semien, the OBP's got to get higher. It's too low for a leadoff hitter. I love Semien, but he has got to get on base more. And look, I think he's below 350. You want your leadoff hitter over 350 OBP. Semien, not quite, in my opinion, and fulfilling that leadoff role as well as he's capable of doing. The Rangers just have too many good players to be this bad. But right now, like I said, I think they're getting close to the point of, hey, we've got to do some things different. We can't just keep sitting around saying, yeah, eventually it's going to happen. I think they're coming to a point where they've got to look at making some changes, either adding some guys from outside the organization, starting to platoon some guys here and there. They've got to start getting creative. Another comment here from YouTube. Pitching staff, so many injuries. The health has got to turn in a positive way at some point. I agree. I think they've got to run into an extended period of health. Just the law of averages, right? I do think that the pitching staff is going to have a sustained period of success, more so than what they're already doing. Again, the pitching isn't the problem right now. It's the bats. I think getting Josh Young back is going to really help, and I'd love to see them add a right-handed bat at the deadline. But they've got to tread water. You have got to tread water until the trade deadline. I'm telling y'all, if the Rangers are 10 games under 500 at the end of June, I don't know how you can sit there and justify adding pieces. If anything, you're thinking about selling pieces to try and bolster the farm system, because I don't think that you're going to be making it 10 games under 500, you'd have to go on an amazing, incredible run in late June to make it. I know it's not impossible mathematically, but with the Mariners and the Astros right there, I just don't think that you can be big time buyers double-digit games under 500 at the deadline. So the Rangers got to tread water, and they've been pretty good at doing that. They're 4 games under 500 right now. I think if they are within 500 distance, within 5 games or so here or there, I think they'll still be buyers, or they'll at least hold, right? But I think if you're 10 games, double-digit games under 500 with the deadline approaching, you do look to maybe move some guys. You might look to move an Andrew Heaney, who I think is on the last year of his contract right now, and there's a couple other guys the Rangers have. You might look to move some of those types of players. As much as we love Heendog and other guys that are on the last year of their contract, you got to start thinking about it if the team really takes a bad turn. And that's the last thing that I want to talk about. It's the last thing that I want to think about after winning a World Series last year. And again, we've said this all year. This is almost the same roster, minus Garver. It's pretty much the same roster that won the World Series. Yes, there are some injuries. Let me rephrase. This offense is basically the same offense as last year that won the World Series. So with that in mind, it's like you want to be buyers, because if this team, this roster, this lineup won the World Series last year, they should be able to at least make another solid playoff run. I mean, that's just the logical thinking. Beyond that, let me go to a couple other things here, back to the matchup, and then we're going to wrap things up for the day. The matchup for tomorrow, that is. So again, Keaton Winn for the Giants. He has not pitched well, 6.17 ERA. Rangers absolutely will be favored in this one with Evo on the bump. So Texas has not faced Winn before at all. So no numbers, no matchup numbers for the Rangers. But the Giants have faced Evo. At least there's a few guys that have. So Casali, the catcher, is 1 for 5 in his career with a home run off of Evo. Chapman is 3 for 12 with 2 home runs off Evo. And Yastrzemski is 1 for 2 with the home runs. So there are some guys in the lineup tomorrow to look out for that have hit home runs and driven the ball well off Evo. Nobody really with sustained success. So I only see 1 guy, 2 guys that are hitting over 300 off Evo in their careers. They have 2 at-bats, though, so it's like very small sample sizes. Chapman is the only guy that has double-digit at-bats. Conforto has 8 at-bats and is 1 for 8 off Evo. Flores, Ranger killer Wilmer Flores, is 1 for 7 off Evo. So, look, I think Nate is going to be able to have some quality success off this Giants team. And if there's any day for the bats to get going, it's tomorrow against a pitcher that in 9 starts, Keaton Winn for the Giants, has over a 6 ERA. So if there's any day for the bats to get going, it's tomorrow. So hopefully on the way into an off day and into a very tough series against the Dodgers that starts Tuesday, the Rangers need this win. We got to win a ball game tomorrow, y'all. Have to. Let me keep going back and forth to the comments as we end the show today. Natalie comment here. It says, if you remember last year, they didn't go on a real win streak till August. You know, last year, the only thing I'll say, through 60 games last year, the Rangers were 40-20 through their first 60 games. You remember, it was kind of the rest of the season that sort of started tailing off a little bit. Yes, they did have some win streaks in August, absolutely. But the best time of the year, of course, minus the postseason, right? Minus the postseason. The best time of the year for the Rangers was the first 60 games. After that, the next 100 games, they went, I believe, after that, 50-50, right? They were like 50-50, basically, their last 100 games of the season. So first 60 games, 40-20. So they tailed off a little bit at the back end. And then they got hot in the postseason, and the rest is history. So I hear what you're saying. I do remember some win streaks in August, but at the same time, the Rangers played their best baseball beyond the postseason the first 60 games last year. They were 40-20 at the 60 game mark. And a lot of those games were without Corey Seager, who was dealing with a hamstring injury and missed like over a month. So I hope that this year, the last 60 games, the Rangers can go 40-20, because that would go a long way to securing a playoff spot and just feeling good going into the postseason. But yeah, the Rangers' first 60 games, not too good this year. Not too good. One can only hope that the record improves over the second half of the season. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Just going through the comments to finish up here, y'all. I forgot it was Evo bobblehead night the other night. And that was a win, too, right? The 9-1 game. Hey, something about Evo starts. I'm telling you, the Rangers do seem to win most starts that Evo pitches. So I do feel pretty good tomorrow about a win. Not a knock on wood like immediately right now. But Nate Eovaldi, very, very good chance of winning a ball game when he's on the bump. One can hope. One can only hope tomorrow's the day the Rangers get a win, salvage a game in this series before you head off to LA for a challenging one against the Dodgers. Don't think there's going to be like any pitching matchups or anything at this point to go through. We'll probably have to do most of that on Sunday. I don't think either team is going to have any starters announced. And sure enough, no starters announced. I wonder if they're going to have to face Glass now. Yamamoto pitched yesterday, so he'll probably pitch maybe on Thursday, maybe. But let's see who the Dodgers have going today. Dodgers have on the bump today Stone. Tomorrow, the Dodgers have Glass now pitching. So I think we're going to miss Glass now. That's encouraging. I don't think that he'll be pitching at all in that midweek series. So we're going to miss Glass now. I think we're probably going to have to face Yamamoto in the Thursday game. And Yamamoto had a great start yesterday. He didn't give up any runs in Yankee Stadium. But we're going to miss Glass now. That's a positive. The Dodgers do have some other pitchers that are high quality, but that is a fortunate thing that we will not have to face Tyler Glass now in that series. Now, let's go ahead and do a little AL West roundup. So today, we've got Mariners Royals once again, and the Royals did beat the Mariners 8-4. So fortunately, the Rangers lose no ground in the AL West. The Blue Jays beat the A's today, 7-0. And then beyond that, we had the Astros playing tonight in Anaheim at 9 o'clock Texas time. So that'll be a little late night game. And they are starting Brown, one of their worst pitchers. And Anderson is going for the Angels, one of their best. So hopefully the Angels can steal a win from the Astros. Unfortunate that the Rangers aren't able to take advantage of all of these losses in the AL West. But the glass half full mentality is that at least they're not losing any ground. So if we look at the standings, Mariners are still 5 games up. Astros are 6 games. So if they were to win tonight, the Astros would be within a half game of the Rangers for second place. A's are 10 games out, 5 games back of the Rangers. And the Angels, with a win tonight over the Astros, would go up to 10 games back of first place, 5 games back of the Rangers. That's the AL West roundup. We'll have finals game 2 as well tomorrow, right? Hopefully we'll get 2 wins. We'll get Rangers early on, and we'll get Mavs in the nighttime spot. That would be super, super ideal. So we're putting those positive vibes out there right now, y'all. Mavs get the win at night. Rangers take the daytime win, and it's a great day in the DFW area for our sports teams. That's the plan. All right, y'all, one final look at the comments, and then we're going to go ahead and get out of here for the day. Enjoy the rest of our Saturday. It's not a great time to be a Rangers fan right now, but you got to stick with them. Can't give up on them. That's a part of being a fan, the ups and the downs. We won the World Series last year. I do try and remind myself of that in these moments where it just never feels like the offense is going to get going again. Hopefully tomorrow's the day, facing a pretty bad pitcher and having our best pitcher on the bump. I think it's going to be a good Sunday tomorrow, y'all. And we'll be going live in between the Mavs and the Rangers game in the afternoon. Want to have our full attention on that Mavs game. So we'll go live as quickly after the Rangers game ends as we can. And then full focus will be on Mavs game 2, trying to even up the series, steal home field advantage. Thank you so much to everybody for watching today. Thank you to all those that followed and subscribed during the show. Please know how much I appreciate you. And do me a favor, if you know somebody that loves the Rangers, loves Rangers baseball, or just loves baseball in general, share this video with them or share one of my shorts or one of my reels with them. I really would appreciate that. Let's keep growing this community of good people talking Rangers baseball and baseball in general. Thank you so much. And as we always say, God bless. Go Rangers. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Hope to see you tomorrow on the live or early next week or possibly on the replay.